Tiananmen Square. Oh my
For many,
god. All right.
(1978), and China has a new leader, the 74-year-old Deng Xiaoping. Deng's record as a reformer, as well as his frank and avuncular manner, is a stark contrast to the memory of Mao Zedong. Deng is convinced that only the Chinese Communist Party can lead China to prosperity. But he also believes major reforms are necessary to do it. His views are echoed by prominent supporters, Hu Yaobang and Zhao Ziyang, who Deng describes as his left and right hands. Together they promote the 4 modernizations in agriculture, industry, national defense, and science and technology. But there is also a growing number who question China's repressive system. Encouraged by Deng's talk of ideological liberation, activists stick up political posters along Beijing's Xidan Street. It becomes known as the Democracy Wall. Many of the posters criticize Mao and the Gang of Four. Deng Xiaoping tolerates this criticism of his predecessors, even as so-called big character posters spread across Beijing and other major cities.
I mean, well, they're dead. So
people have grievances and they should be allowed to express them, Deng tells an American journalist. Most posters are anonymous. But in December 1978, Wei Jingsheng, an electrician and former Red Guard, posts an essay entitled "The Fifth Modernization." Signing it with his real name and address, he argues that democracy is essential for the welfare of the Chinese people.
Yo! Oh, the audacity, the boldness!
Democracy, freedom, and happiness for all are our sole objectives in carrying out modernization.
Hold on a second. So, what I heard about the Chinese language, right, is that these characters represent individual words. Because I was hearing people say that Chinese is easy. Chinese is very easy to learn. And I heard that the characters are just like, it represents one whole word. Is that true? Because what I thought is these markings like were like individual letters. Like individual, like kind of like letters-ish. I don't know. And they're like, and you could like change the markings into like a different word or whatever. But no, what I've heard is that it's just one set, like essentially symbol, and this one symbol represents a whole word and nothing else but that word. Nothing else except for that word. Is that true? So all of these symbols that we see right here just represents a word. Literally. I want someone to confirm that. Because if it is, I mean, yeah, I can see why people say that would be easy to learn. Because wouldn't just Chinese be like just remembering? I mean, that would take a long ass time. Don't get me wrong. That would take years, bro. Because you have to get your brain used to like one symbol meaning one whole word. Like, I mean, that's not hard. It would be tedious as hell. But honestly, you could say the same thing to any language. because I'm like teaching myself Russian every day, and I realize it's not hard. It's just tedious as hell. Like, it's really not hard to learn. In my personal opinion, for me, it's just really tedious. It's like, okay, well, I get the logic of this, but it's gonna take a long time for my brain to turn this into something automatic, right? So
he writes. Now, the limits to the new spirit of openness are revealed. Wei Jingsheng and 30 other activists are arrested and given long jail sentences. In March 1979, Deng Xiaoping introduces 4 basic principles. 1. Uphold the socialist road. 2. Uphold the dictatorship of the proletariat. 3. Uphold the leadership of the Communist Party. 4. Uphold Marxism, Leninism, Mao Zedong thought. Any misapprehension that Deng's reforms will include an end to one-party rule are firmly laid to rest.
Hello traders! In this
Nevertheless, his planned economic reforms are ambitious and far-reaching. Deng signals his desire to strengthen international relations and expand trade during a landmark visit to the United States. It's the first by a Chinese leader since 1943. In Texas, his evident enjoyment of American traditions helps win over the crowds and underscores his pragmatic approach to China's foreign relations. Deng's goal is to lift millions of ordinary Chinese out of poverty and into the middle class. The means will be a new economic system, socialism with Chinese characteristics. For the first time, elements of market capitalism will be introduced into what has been a rigidly state-controlled communist model. Decisions will be decentralized, industries opened to private enterprise, and price controls loosened.
bro, perfect system. Mix communism and capitalism. Boom. It really seems to work. Like, you don't need to be one or the other completely. Why not just mix them? That's what Barbados does, which is my country, if you're new to the channel. It doesn't mix like pure communist tendencies. It mixes a lot of socialism. It literally mixes socialism with capitalism. And it's funny because Barbados and China, they're great friends. I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, Barbados and China are like this. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, a lot of people don't know much about the Caribbean, but freaking, like, bro, like, Barbados, it's weird. It's weird. Like, they are really close. Like, China has given Barbados a lot. Like, the buses there, all from China. Freaking China helped build so many things in the freaking country. China has donated so much to the Coast Guard. Just to go off the video and show you what I mean here. Like, very recently, this is the new president of Barbados. She's not president anymore, but she was the first president. But a new president has recently taken over. But yeah, recently I saw this in the Barbadian news. The president, former president, when she was president, she was with China, celebrating the founding of the People's Republic of China. Yeah, and the prime minister here. You see the prime minister here with Xi Jinping. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, Barbados and China. Yeah, they're really. What's my opinion on that? No comment. But yeah, they're really, really, really buddy buddy. Allegedly. There was a rumor that allegedly, I don't know how true this is, guys, but allegedly, okay, I have to say allegedly. I don't know. I don't have any proof of this. Don't say this is my words. I just simply heard these words. Please do not say this is my words. But allegedly, China. I've heard allegedly from other people online on resources from Britain that China paid Barbados to abolish the monarchy, which many people pointed out that Barbados abolished the monarchy without consulting the people, which is extremely undemocratic. And allegedly, according to other sources, not my words, China paid Barbados, the prime minister, to do it, in order to get more of a firmer control over the island. Allegedly, these are not my words. These are not my words. This is simply rumors that I have heard in Britain and other places around in the Caribbean, from British politicians. In fact, I even saw many British politicians warn Barbados about China and said, "Do not fall into China's debt trap," because many British politicians are noted the very close relationship that Barbados and China has. So these are not my words. These are not my words. Please don't come after me, because these are not my words.
However, the changes will be introduced cautiously, and all aspects of the economy will remain under close government supervision.
Yeah, even my cousin too, by the way, she even said that when she lived in Barbados, it was actually trying to promote the use of Chinese, which is insane.
Special economic zones will be the blazing beacons of China's new economic era. Inspired by the post-war booms in Singapore, Hong Kong, South Korea and Japan, the first SEZs are all on the coast to facilitate foreign investment. They include Shenzhen, just 15 miles from Hong Kong, and Xiamen, opposite Taiwan. Many more will follow in the 1980s. The SEZs offer foreign investors access to China's plentiful cheap labour and raw materials, with less regulation and lower taxes. They are touted as gateways to China, ports through which a booming trade in imports and exports can be established. The SEZs are a massive success, attracting huge amounts of foreign investment, new factories and jobs. In the countryside, Mao's mass collectivization programs are rolled back. Rural households are allocated their own land, with more freedom in how they choose to farm it. Over the next 6 years, 97% of peasant households move from collective to individual land ownership. Agricultural output increases by more than 60%. Hunger and famine, which have haunted Chinese peasants for millennia, become a thing of the past. Thousands of students and officials who had been exiled to rural areas during the Cultural Revolution are allowed to return to the cities and resume their functions. Entrance exams to universities, suspended during the Cultural Revolution, are reintroduced in 1977. And academic life resumes in universities across the country.
Why do all Asians look the same? I'm sorry, bro. Like, I'm looking at these people, I'm like, how in the world do you tell the differences between these people? Like, come on. Bro, like, don't get me wrong, like, black people do look the same ish, but it's like black people tend to have a lot of unique features because they're usually like mixed with like other stuff. Like me, for example, um, like I stand out as a black person because I'm freaking Creole. I'm mixed with European as well. I'm a European. Genes are freaking pretty dominant, despite the fact that I am predominantly black. So my face doesn't look African, West African, because that's what I mix all West African. My face doesn't really look West African because my face literally looks European, but um and even then my skin tone fluctuates all the time. Like right now I look darker, but I mean if you've been watching me for a long time, you'll literally see where my skin tone just brightens up and then goes back dark and then brightens up and then goes back dark. So a lot of black people tend to have that going for them. Well, that's just me. That's unique with me. Some black people, it's just like they have a whole bunch of other stuff. But you get the point. It's like, yeah, they do look the same, but usually they have like unique, distinct things about them that you could be like, okay, yeah, you do look different. No, these people here, they just look the same. I can't really the like. I do notice their facial features do differ a lot. But that's about it. But like all in all, it's like they look the same. Bruh, I can't be the only one to think this, man.
Abroad, China continues to assert its influence as a major regional power. To the south, in Indochina, it has supported two communist insurgencies in Vietnam and Cambodia. After long struggles, both have secured control in their respective countries. But by the late 1970s, China's relations with communist Vietnam are deteriorating fast. After the Soviet China split, Vietnam sides with its other backer, the Soviet Union. In 1978, Vietnam invades Khmer Rouge-controlled Cambodia, led by Pol Pot, threatening to overthrow China's other regional ally.
Yeah, this is a thing I pointed out earlier in this China series. People in the West think that the communist world was this sunshine and rainbows, and it was like the Cold War was this freaking, oh yes, it was America, gracious America versus the evil communist bloc, and the evil communist bloc were all together and trying to do whatever the hell American propaganda says that they were trying to do. When in reality, oh my gosh, it really is mind blowing how much each of these communist countries hated each other. I knew about this for a while. I actually learned about this for a while. It's just mind blowing how. Oh my goodness, dude! It's even more weird because China and America, they had this weird love hate relationship because America helped China's economic massive economic growth too. Somebody else pointed that out in my comment in one of the China series, and um, but at the same time, it was like they still didn't really like. They weren't like that great of friends, you know what I mean? Like, it's yeah, just a love hate relationship essentially, man. But yeah, the amount of disunity in the communist world it's really really mind blowing. You had Yugoslavia, which hated the Soviet Union. Albania was communist, I believe, but it didn't even follow the Soviet model of communism. I think Yugoslavia and Albania follow the Chinese model of communism, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, you had the communist Soviet Union and China that hated each other. And then you have these countries here beefing with each other in Indochina, the Vietnam, Cambodia. Oh my gosh, I think Laos would eventually get involved in this beef too. It's bruh, it's so. Ugh.
Outraged, China launches a limited invasion of Vietnam the following year. But it is a costly affair. Experienced Vietnamese forces inflict an estimated 20,000 casualties on the People's Liberation Army. Chinese military deficiencies are exposed, leading to a thorough overhaul and modernization of its armed forces.
I heard a story of a Chinese man, actually. He was captured by some Vietnamese women, and these Vietnamese women essentially used him as a toy, if you get my drift. Literally, like, that's all that they captured him for. Apparently he was like a really handsome guy, so like these Vietnamese women just captured him. They unalived everybody else though, but they kept him alive and used him as a toy. You know, if you catch my drift. These women deserted. They deserted with him, of course, these two women, and lived out in the forests of Vietnam. The guy just accepted his fate. Accepted his fate. Lived out his days with them for a while. Had a kid with one of them. But eventually, he realized that the area that he was living in was actually near the Chinese border. So he kind of just, for a while, just basically took a map and a scout of the area to figure out where the hell he was exactly. Long story short, he ended up getting back to China, because that's how this story was able to even be like heard. He left his kid there. He never saw the kid again. Although he did say that he does regret that. He wishes that he could see his kid again, but you know, who knows? I really wonder what happened to the kid and the two women.
Attacking Vietnam, a Soviet ally, does no harm to China's relations with the West, however, which continue to improve. Deng Xiaoping hosts state visits by the Prime Ministers of Great Britain and Japan, the President of France, and Queen Elizabeth II.
That's crazy. Mommy Lizzie, you went to China?
Deng is Time magazine's Man of the Year. Twice. Deng even softens official language toward the old enemy, nationalist-controlled Taiwan. Communist China's stated strategy towards Taiwan becomes one of peaceful reunification rather than liberation. But Deng's offer to incorporate Taiwan into the People's Republic of China under a one country, two systems formula is rejected by Taiwan's president, Jiang Jingkuo, son of Chiang Kai-shek.
No green beans, I'm on a diet. Just the mashed.
What the heck? Bro, you are such a Chad. You are such a Chad. How is this your son? How is that your son? What happened? I don't know. I guess he ate too much food or whatever, but he lived through a time where it was a lot different. Like, this man was struggling. So yeah, he would be a lot more leaner. But it's like, bro, how do you, come on, that's your father and that's you. What? I mean, he does look like his father. He just has a lot more weight.
China's new confidence abroad is seen in its promotion of pinyin, the new phonetic system for spelling Mandarin Chinese using the Latin alphabet. The international media finally learns to call Peking Beijing. At home, however,
crazy.
the Communist Party's control over society remains as firm as ever. Since 1949, China's population has been growing at an unprecedented rate. This was the result of giant strides in public health, while Mao and the government had encouraged and rewarded large families. In just 30 years, China's population has nearly doubled, from 550 million to around 1 billion. It's a rate that many experts believe is unsustainable and harmful to prosperity. And so, in 1980, China introduces a one-child policy.
You know, it's hilarious because this one-child policy is literally hurting China now. So all these so-called experts who are saying, "Oh, this population growth is gonna hurt China." Well, guess what? Because China did the freaking opposite, is suffering now. Bruh.
For most families, a second child will now lead to heavy fines and other penalties. In some cases, there are even forced abortions and sterilization. The consequence will be a generation of single-child families with a strong gender imbalance in favor of males.
The masculine urge to say base.
Strict family planning laws are just one way that the Communist Party has transformed the roles and experience of women living in China. Mao declared that women hold half the sky, and in the 1950s he'd introduced laws to improve women's rights in marriage, divorce and property. By the late 70s, it is estimated that up to 90% of women based in urban areas are in work. In 1980, China is among the first to ratify the UN Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women. But ambitions and declarations do not always match reality. Women remain underrepresented in China's political and economic leadership. And as with much development in China, many reforms take much longer to reach rural communities. Progress is being made, but for many, not quickly enough.
Some things are...
Tiananmen Square. Oh my
For many,
god. Nothing happened in Tiananmen Square. I don't know why I'm acting like this, to be honest.
China's economic reforms.
It's just a regular square with no significant importance at all.
Nothing absolutely happened in Tiananmen Square, guys.
Fuel hopes for political change, especially with the rise to prominence of Hu Yaobang, Deng's old ally, now General Secretary of the party. Hu is an unusually outspoken and open-minded member of the Politburo. He advocates greater openness and challenges the privileges of the princelings, the children of senior Communist Party officials. He is hugely popular with the people. Many reformers hope he will, in time, succeed Deng as supreme leader. In 1986, popular discontent leads to student protests across China, with calls for greater openness and democracy. When Deng Xiaoping orders Hu to break up the student protests, he refuses. Hu is forced to resign and perform humiliating self-criticism in front of his colleagues. 2 years later, in the midst of a Politburo meeting, he has a heart attack and dies.
I am certain that nothing, absolutely nothing, was involved in this naturally caused death of this guy, who certainly was not an inconvenience for anybody at all. I'm certain that there is absolutely nothing that he may have drunk or ate that caused his heart attack. Definitely, definitely. I've never heard of anything that causes people to have a heart attack if you drink or eat it at all. Nothing at all.
The death of such a popular figure, seen as unfairly treated by an out-of-touch party, provokes a huge public reaction. Thousands of mourners gather in Beijing. They gravitate towards Tiananmen Square, where mourning turns into protest, just as it did after the death of Zhou Enlai.
I don't know what he's talking about, because Tiananmen Square was a peaceful day every single day in 1989. It really is just confusing to me. What is he talking about here exactly?
Exactly 70 years after the iconic protests of 1919, 100,000 students take part in demonstrations, once more calling for Mr. Democracy.
What is
This fictional story that I am hearing right now. Wow, Epic History TV, this is supposed to be a history channel, not a fictional channel.
On the 13th of May, hundreds begin a hunger strike, hoping to pressure the government into negotiations.
I want to say to the government, what we want is only the democracy, only the freedom of the speech, not overthrow the government. We support our government to go on the reform, economic reform and political reform.
that guy looks like my friend, but my friend is Filipino. What am I saying? All Asians look the same.
The new party general secretary is Zhao Ziyang, another of Deng's protégés. On the 19th of May, Zhao visits the protest camp, expressing concern and sympathy. At 69, he is one of the younger members of the Politburo and tells students, "We are already old and do not matter." State Premier Li Peng is a far more conservative figure. He wins Deng's backing for a tough response to the protests. There will be no negotiations, no concessions. Instead, martial law is declared. And on the night of the 3rd of June, troops and tanks are sent in to clear Tiananmen Square.
What?
By any means necessary.
Guys,
What is this story? Whoa! Is this like a manga or something? Because I've never heard of this in my life at all.
I really don't know what he's talking about here, guys.
The result is a massacre.
a massacre. A massacre of what? Not people. Probably a massacre of the beautiful day. Yeah, the day was so great that it was just a massacre. That's how great the day was. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm just gonna ignore this part of the video.
Official figures state that 218 civilians and 23 security personnel were killed, with several thousand injured. Many are skeptical of these numbers, believing the real death toll to be much higher. In the aftermath, cameras capture a remarkable moment of defiance. Alone anonymous man on Chang'an Avenue, blocking a column of tanks.
What the heck is this?
Wow, whoever the author of this story is, this is 10 out of 10. This is really, really entertaining.
The incident is seen around the world.
Well, I mean, I of course this show series, whatever you want to call it, would definitely go global. I mean, this is. I mean, this has me on my seat right now.
Tank Man becomes a globally famous symbol of resistance to authoritarianism. Despite strict censorship, further reports and some footage of the bloody events emerge. The international media is quick to condemn the massacre. But the Chinese government never deviates from its official line. Speaking a few days after the event, Deng Xiaoping, now 84 years old, denounces the protests as a counter-revolutionary rebellion, fully warranting a military response. General Secretary Zhao Ziyang, who had gone to meet the protesters, is removed from office and spends 15 years under house arrest. Li Peng remains China's state premier for 9 more years. Later that year, Deng Xiaoping formally retires from frontline politics, and it appears he is handing power back to the party's reactionaries and conservatives. Deng's era of reforms has stalled. China seems to be going backwards.
If you're starting your holiday...
The Tiananmen Square massacre badly damages China's international reputation, and once again the country finds itself isolated. Many contrast events in China with recent reforms in Taiwan, which has undergone a period of liberalization. Martial law had been lifted for the first time in 1987, paving the way for the island's first full parliamentary elections in 1991. The economy is booming, fueled by foreign investment and led by new companies such as the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or
I swear, this company is like the only reason why anybody would go and rescue Taiwan, bro.
TSMC. Today, it's the world's largest chip maker, an industry that will transform Taiwan's economy.
Bruh, this is literally like why Taiwan, like people would go and freaking rescue Taiwan if China goes to reunite the place, bro, because it's because of this.
In contrast, China's perceived regression leads to a significant fall in foreign investment, as the United States and European Union impose sanctions. The World Bank suspends loans. Economic forecasts for China are downgraded. China's economic stagnation will stir Deng Xiaoping into action once more. In 1992, aged 87, he embarks on a southern tour, visiting successful special economic zones where he demands bolder leadership and greater energy in the drive for economic development. He dismisses the old dogma that a socialist state must be a planned economy, with no role for a capitalist market. Single-handedly, Through his immense personal influence, Deng puts reform back at the center of the agenda. Though never explicitly stated, a new contract between the Chinese Communist Party and the people is being written. Legitimacy in exchange for growth, prosperity, and national resurgence. The party upholds its side of the deal. The 1992 Party Congress declares China a socialist market economy. From now on, markets, not the state, will set the prices for goods, services, labor, and capital.
Yeah, again, I think socialism, so capitalism is the perfect system. Why? Because I literally grew up with this, not exactly like this in Barbados, but Barbados is still heavily socialist in nature. With things like welfare and a whole bunch of other stuff. But it's still extremely capitalist too. Like, you could combine them both and it works well. Barbados is a rich country. It literally has a reputation of being a rich country. Especially, like, it's like one of the richest Caribbean nations right now. Before, it used to be like the richest Caribbean country, but the Bahamas has taken that spot because obviously the Bahamas is right next to the United States of America. So, you know, Americans who don't know anything about the world, don't know geography at all, they only know the Bahamas because the Bahamas is right next to it. So they constantly all go to the Bahamas, and thus, you know, the Bahamas essentially just has a cheat code in boosting its economy. Now, you could say the same thing about Barbados because, basically all of Barbados' existence, Barbados, like, more than half the tourists, it was all coming from the UK. And that's because Barbados always had a reputation of being Little England, being the most British Caribbean country. You know, like, British people always say Barbados is just like home, except without the garbage weather, and it has tropical weather instead. So that's why British people always used to flock there to go on vacation, go holiday. You could say that too. That's true. I'm not gonna deny. I'm not gonna lie. Had Barbados not had that reputation, it probably not would have been you know, prospering today. Funny enough. Although recently I have seen in Barbadian news that more Americans have visited Barbados for the first time in its history than British people. So Barbados is becoming more and more slowly in Americans' and their brains. Because I remember 10 years ago when it first came to America, Americans would be like, what the hell is a Barbados? Now I'm seeing more and more Americans be like, oh yeah, I know that country. So I don't know. So I don't know. That and Barbados might have a buttload of oil actually. So that will probably help the economy. But point is, Barbados is a rich country. Okay, it's a very successful country. It has a reputation of punching above its weight. So I'm just saying, I lived through a similar system like this, so I can say to you that this shit works. Okay, like this is why I say that I'm not fully gonna discredit all of socialist nature and communist nature, because there are some aspects of it that works, because I've partially lived through it. Okay, like, I'm just saying.
Many state-owned enterprises are reformed, privatized, or allowed to fail, as large-scale private businesses take over. GDP leaps from 3.9% in 1990 to 14.2% in 1992, and remains high for a decade. According to World Bank figures, in 1990, more than 80% of the population lived in extreme poverty. Over the next 30 years, that number plummets to 0%. Some regard it as one of the greatest economic miracles in history. A vast multitude lifted out of extreme poverty in record time. But there's another side to this unprecedented economic boom. For decades, the Chinese government had subsidized housing and food. But now, price controls and parts of the social welfare system are removed. Many find themselves abandoned and struggling to get by. Now there is more unemployment, corruption, pollution, and dramatically rising inequality, especially between urban and rural populations. As a result, tens of millions of the rural poor move to booming cities, where strict residential permit requirements, known as the Hukou system, renders them second-class citizens, locked out of state benefits.
When people ask me what...
In 1997, Deng Xiaoping dies, aged 92. The scale of his legacy, though contested, is hard to overstate. Under Deng's leadership, China's economic potential has finally been unleashed, and living standards have soared. To his admirers, Deng is one of the greatest statesmen of the 20th century. To his detractors, he used economic reforms to entrench one-party communist rule. The man who oversaw Mao's brutal anti-rightist campaigns of the 1950s remained true to the party to the end.
I'm not gonna lie though, what a G. I'm not gonna lie, what a G. Like, yo, minus the fictional events that in the place where nothing ever happened. Yeah, what a G. Honestly.
Deng's successor as paramount leader is Jiang Zemin. Jiang, politically conservative but an economic reformer, is known for his outgoing personality and is the first Chinese leader to speak both English and Russian. Working with State Premier Li Peng, he ensures the country holds its course, balancing a growing economy with a highly centralized state. Abroad, Jiang carries on Deng's cautious approach, described as choosing to hide one's talent and bide one's time. But world leaders now choose their words carefully, as their economies become increasingly dependent on Chinese trade. In July 1997, Hong Kong is peacefully transferred from the United Kingdom to the People's Republic of China, marking the end of 156 years of colonial rule. It is a hugely symbolic moment for an increasingly assertive China, definitively turning the page on its century of humiliation.
Bro, it's so insane, bro. Like, all the Hong Kongers want Britain back. Yo, all the Hong Kongers want Britain back, bruh. Oh, yo, it's so insane how I spoke to a man from Hong Kong before. Back when I played Hoi 4, and yo, this man, like he had the thickest British accent you could think of, despite the fact that Hong Kong is a part of China today. And he was like, "Oh my God, we all want Britain back." I'm like, bro, you would think that this man is from the UK, bro. No, this man's literally freaking Hong Kong, China. Had the sickest British accent, bro. His accent, right, was more like English than mine's, because the Beijing accent, right? The Beijing accent is a mixture of British and African. Well, it's basically just a British accent, but a variant of the British accent. But the Beijing accent it's more so heavily Gaelic, okay, Irish, Scottish, right? Because the history of Barbados, those who were the original settlers of Barbados, it was vast majority was originally Irish and Scottish people, and when the African slaves came around, they adopted their accent because the Irish and Scottish were also slaves too. A lot of them, they were working the same fields, the same years as Africans, and because of this, when the African slaves had to learn English, well, they adopted the accent that was just spoken around there, which is, obviously would be Irish, Scottish and whatnot, basically Gaelic. Yes, there would be English too, like standard King's English and how to pronounce words and whatnot. But because of this kind of just morphed into the modern Bajan accent, which is a combination of a few British accents into just the Bajan accent that we all know and love today. But his accent, like, nah, man, it was just like English, like just English, like not British, but like English, bruh. Like posh. It honestly sounded a bit posh to me. So yeah, that was an interesting experience.
2 years later, Portugal returns Macau to China. Both territories are promised limited autonomy under a one country, two systems approach. Many predict that the rise of China's middle class will lead inevitably to increased demand for political rights. This, after all, is the lesson of 19th century Europe. US President Bill Clinton even warns China that its record on human rights puts it on the wrong side of history. Around the world, there is a confident assumption that prosperity will make China more like the West. In defiance of such expectations, the 21st century sees China continue to grow in economic power and international stature, while at home the Communist Party continues to rule virtually unopposed. In 2001, China joins the World Trade Organization. Chinese goods become cheaper and more competitive than ever. Within a few years, China is the world's largest exporter. More and more foreign companies offshore their manufacturing to China to take advantage of cheap labor. The Chinese economy grows at rates other nations can only dream of. 10, 12, then 14%. It is, the World Bank declares, the fastest sustained expansion by a major economy in history. The only thing keeping pace is the country's carbon emissions and air pollutants. In 2008, China hosts its first Olympic Games. It is the perfect stage to showcase a new China to the world. Prosperous, confident, and ambitious.
No.
The opening ceremony is an awe-inspiring spectacle that celebrates thousands of years of Chinese history. In 2009, China overtakes Japan to become the world's second largest economy, behind only the USA.
Japan was sabotaged by America. Japan should have been way more richer than it is now. America's sabotaged Japan, but whatever. That's what
Communist Party
for
rule
being an American ally.
is not entirely uncontested. Far from Beijing, in Tibet and Xinjiang, there are protests over the perceived injustices of its rule. They are met with force and mass detention. The entire country, meanwhile, is subject to increasingly sophisticated surveillance and strict censorship. The Great Firewall helps to keep Chinese citizens safe from harmful foreign ideas, while the internet is continuously patrolled for any sign of dissent. The Communist Party guarantee of stability, security and prosperity comes at a price. The freedoms that are taken for granted in many other parts of the world. In 2012, after 10 years of leadership, the cautious, technocratic Hu Jintao passes the baton to a new leader, Xi Jinping. A century on from the abdication of the last Qing emperor, China is a country that has been utterly transformed. The road has been long, bloody, and turbulent. But there is no doubt that the Middle Kingdom has resumed its natural place at the heart of global affairs.
Truly epic history, man. Truly epic, bruh. If you made it all the way this far into the video, man, make sure you like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you have any videos like this that you would love to see my reaction to, or you would like to hear what I have to say, especially if you liked what you heard from me today, you can always suggest it in the comments below. Eventually, I will do it. If you are an active viewer of mine, I highly recommend you become a channel member. Okay, and this is why I say active members. 1, it is only 99 cents a month, guys. 2, if you constantly like to watch me and you have a lot of suggestions for me, or you want better insight on where the direction of this channel will go, you know, when you become a member, you get access to all of that. Like when I got my concussion and everyone was confused where the hell I went, my channel members were constantly updated on what was going on with me. Guys, stuff like that will happen, okay? Like stuff like that will happen. Unfortunately, right? Now I'm too lazy to say all the perks that you get when you become a channel member, but you can always go on my channel page, you click join, and you'll see the less than 5 minutes, bro. It's literally less than 5 minutes. I think 3 minutes. 3-minute video where I explain all the perks that you get. So, anyways, man, thank you for watching and goodbye.